To my Rideshare subscribers, to my Rideshare family, to the house, how are you today? Who has heard of Vibe? Who has heard of Tryp? And who understands reality, right? I'm getting all these email and text messages. Hey, Torsten, what do you think? What do you think? This new company, Vibe, is out there. They're sending these videos out. And then, you know what? I'm open-minded. I will look at any new company. I will look at any new kid on the block, right? And I'll do my research. And if I think I've gathered enough, I will offer my opinion, right? So on this particular company, Vibe, which truly, its background really is a travel company, right? And then what this travel company did is it extended itself out into the rideshare world, right? But here's the big thing, under the banner of MLM, multi-level marketing. I'm going to tell you something about multi-level marketing. I have been part of a couple of MLM platforms. If anybody has ever signed up for any of the MLMs, sure, please share your opinion, share your input. But it's a fact that about 95 to 97% of these MLM startups fail, right? Because the only way MLMs survive if you create enough hype around the product, and if you actually have a product, right? If you actually have a product that can sell. And if I had to think of two MLMs just, off the cuff, that are still around today, that are still very successful, and that truly have products to sell, I would just throw out two names, Herbalife and Amway, been around forever, right? They have a whole product line, they have amazing marketing, there's huge money behind it. But, even a few years ago, I signed up for Monavi. 1 year later, gone, right? Sign up for Jeunesse, not going anywhere. Even back in the day, signed up for Playboy MLM, didn't go anywhere. The bottom line is, my experience is that multi-level marketing is a complete and utter waste of time unless, you have a huge network of people and you have a great product line that you represent. Now, here comes Vibe, trying to literally copy what Tryp does, right? And you guys know what I think about Tryp. I'm very vocal about this, right? I personally think that Tryp is not going anywhere, and I'll tell you why. Because I was one of the people that paid $149 to understand their back management system, right? I wanted to look into that and see if it had potential. And for that, I was willing to pay $149. I have probably requested 4 or 5 times from Tryp to give me that money back because they've broken promise after promise after promise. The funny thing is, if you look at my thumbnail, it's basically exciting announcements. You get these emails, hey, there's another phone call taking place tomorrow, taking place the next day, exciting announcement. Guys, we're in December 2019. This stuff was supposed to take off in end of 2018. 2019 rolled around, nothing happened. February came around, they said they would launch. They had all these launch dates, all these big events, Miami events, collecting monies from influencers, because that's how it works. One person refers the other, and then you're supposed to get a fee for that referral, right? And then they have this like sort of pyramid scheme where you'll have your people that you bring in under you, and you earn from them, and you earn from the second tier. But we're in December 2020, and I'm still getting multiple announcements from Tryp. Hey, exciting announcement, get on the call. Another exciting announcement, get on the call. And I remember very clearly a few months back when all of the stuff was supposed to take off in Miami, and they even brought in Rideshare Peterson. Rideshare Peterson actually made videos out of one of my SUVs in LA, right, talking about Tryp. And here we are in December 2020, and I see no results, right? And understand that if you're focusing on bringing in drivers who bring in drivers, who bring in influencers who bring in drivers, where have you taken the time to think about probably one of the most crucial ingredients, the passenger? Billy O'Neill in the house, how are you? Right, and if you're making with Tryp with money, if you're making money with Tryp, I'm sorry, chime in. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you, and I want to see the proof of the big bucks, right, made in Tryp. But I have seen nothing. 0.0%. Nobody has been able to show me a functional hub, a functional office, fully functional apps, rider or driver apps, and people that have actually completed trips and made money. Nobody's emailed me those results, and I've asked for them over and over again. And here I see another company coming along, and I'm going to be very careful how I use these words, but on another big MLM event launching Vibe, this guy on the stage there in his like $200 suit, in his blue suit, hyping up. They call them MCs, right? They're hyping up the crowd. And it's just like if you've ever been to an Anthony Robbins event for 2 days, and I've been there, right? $10,000. The guy will get you pumped up, right? I mean, I could go on a stage and pump up a crowd. You could go on a stage and pump up a crowd, right? But the bottom line is, after you bring these masses into the room and you got big screens, you got music and you got dancing, yeah, everybody dance now, and they all jump up and they get all excited. But the bottom line is, how many people do they really sign up? What type of a product do they have? Hang on one second, they don't have a product. They're not selling toothpaste, they're not selling toothbrushes, they're not selling herbal tonics, they're not selling fitness drinks, nothing. They're selling the promise of a future ride. They don't have a product. And if an MLM company does not have a product, right? Now they're piggybacking on this travel company. This travel company might have travel packages that they're successfully selling. But the reason why MLM and rideshare together will not work, and bring me the doubters here, bring me the people that, you know, that say, hey, this is going to function. I've been challenging you for 1.5 years to show me results, and you've showed me crap. You've showed me nothing. Tryp has not shown me nothing. Vibe is now sending me all the stuff. Hey, you know, mention us on your video. I said, yeah, I will mention you on my video, but I'm going to do the research on you first, right? Who in their right minds is going to spend money up front on a subscription, on a future promise, when there's nothing in place, right? So they bill your credit card, they take this money, they maybe Tryp has raised, I'm going to carefully say maybe $1.5 million or $1 million to date, right? Tell you what, that's not enough to start a rideshare company. And when I went out and started GOAT, it's not like I'm starting a rideshare company. I'm gonna finish a platform where you can schedule trips, right? If I wanted to start a full-on company, a rideshare company, and go up against Uber and Lyft, I better have some big backers, money backers on board. Travis Kalanick back in the day got the money from the Saudis, got the money from many VC companies. You know, their pitch deck was going around in Palo Alto and San Francisco, and they were raising the money, and they were good at it, right? And they raised billions of dollars, right? You will not get a company, a national rideshare company off the ground if you signed up X amount of influencers and you've maybe raised $1.5 million to $2 million. Dream on. It's not going to happen, right? Because your biggest challenge is you're up against Uber, you're up against Lyft, who have deep pockets, right? And the moment they see a new company that where they face an actual challenge, they will be all over that company. So I don't perceive Uber and Lyft seeing Vibe or Tryp as challenges, right? As worthy challenges. And I don't see MLM and rideshare taking place, right? And I'm not a pessimist. I'm what they call a realist, and that's why I called my video Vibe versus Tryp versus reality. Vibe is this new name on the block, and again, I wish every company well. You know, I'm not trashing or put this company down, but if you're asking for my honest opinion, right? Ed's in the house. How are you? If you're asking for my honest opinion, will Vibe work? My answer is no. And if you asked me in the past, will Tryp work? My answer back then was no. And 1.5 years later, it's no, right? Because an MLM, firstly, is a very, very, very small percentage of MLM companies succeed. A lot of them get shut down because they classify them as Ponzi schemes once the Attorney General looks into them. And the bottom line is, if you're selling a pipe dream, if you're selling a future dream and you're taking all this money up front, you better deliver. And I have seen no delivery from Tryp. I've seen a big event from Vibe, right? I'm not sure where they did their big launch party, but I've been to these events, right? You can pay an MC, you can have glamorous stage, and you can even rent a crowd. And all you got to do is make people that are all pumped up and enthusiastic. But at the end of the day, you have to have a product, right? And the Amways and the Herbalifes are still around today, 20, 30 years later. Why? Because they have a wide range of products that work, right? And they have a lot of people enrolled in their system, right? Some of their top earners, several $1 million a year, right? But taking subscription monies, and this is where I would just say red flag, be careful. Anybody that's asking you upfront for money on a future promise, when my gut says, nah, this doesn't smell right, right? That's when I stay away. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually isn't true, right? Hi, Raul Garcia. He says he was at the event of Vibe. And I want your feedback, buddy. And I'm going to be very, 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 very straightforward. And that's just how I am. You ask me on my opinion on Vibe. Hey, Tryp, Vibe. They could be brother and sister, right? Same thing, right? Rideshare and MLM don't mix. And a very, very, very few percent out of the 100% in the MLM world work. Most of them fizzle out within the first 3 to 6 months, right? And if you pump up people and you get enough influencers that are signing up other people, make sure you have a product. James Campbell says vibrator, right? That's a good one. I like that. San Fernando Valley in the house. David Garcia, baby. How are you, my friend? I was just in the valley about 2 hours ago. Miami's in the house. Dane, who else do we have in the house? Gig Lifestyle. What about a rideshare company called Curve Sides out of Philadelphia? Send me info. But if you want me to look at an MLM company, I'm going to give you my honest truth, whether you like it or not. Whether the Vibe guys dig my vibe or hate my vibe, right? You better show me a model in place how you are going to get passengers, right? Because I can sign up thousands and thousands of drivers. I signed up 13,000 drivers from Juno. Did Juno deliver? Nothing, right? I signed up under an influencer for Tryp to see what it was all about, to monitor it. And I said to myself, I'm not going to make the same mistake as I did with Juno, right? Juno was a promise. It was a future promise. Tryp was a future promise. And I said to myself, I am not going to sign up Tryp drivers unless they have bookings, functioning apps, and that they have riders and a proven track record. You show me a proven track record and I will bring you the drivers, right? And I hate to say it, I mean, these guys have the monopoly, Uber and Lyft, but these are companies that are built on billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? So even if you're a company like Tryp and you sign up a couple of thousand influencers and raise $2 million, $2 million is nothing when you have to pay for the licenses, incorporations, you have to pay the fees in each state, you have to pay, you have to, most of your money is supposed to go in marketing, right? So 1.5 years later, I don't see any results from Tryp. And maybe 1 month into Vibe, all I see is the people from Vibe vibing the same Tryp story. Sign up. Hey, we'll get you going. Sign up. Become a rideshare company on this extended travel company. They're actually a travel company, right? So let me know what you think, right? Errol's in the house. Mark Foudy's in the house. Boston's in the house. But if you want my true opinion on Vibe or Tryp, let me explain it in very simple language. 2 thumbs down. Not even this. Definitely not this. 2 thumbs down. I would not put a single cent into the companies because MLM and rideshare together simply do not work. If somebody can go out today, raise, 100 million, which is possible, and come up with a great new model that could turn Uber or Lyft upside down, I would say I would back that horse, right? But would I back an MLM company? Would I bring in people? Would I become an influencer for an MLM rideshare company? Absolutely not. City of Big Shoulders, Chinatown here. Jason Hong in the house. How are you, buddy? So, again, anybody that's signed up with Vibe and that's made money, send me the screenshots, send me the proof, right? No money, no honey. You ain't gonna get any honey and any rewards and any positive videos from me unless you can show me the bucks. Hey, Professor, do you deal with banking? If so, could you do a video on Best Bank? I don't know how Best Bank fits in there. Is it a rideshare bank? Email me. A lot of people email me stories. I'll look at them. And absolutely, Dave Perez, GOAT in the house, my friends. GOAT all the way, right? And GOAT is not a rideshare company. GOAT is a scheduling platform, right? Way, way simpler to program, way simpler to roll out, right? And keeping your overheads low. I would not be able to go into the market and start a fully functional rideshare company based on that same Uber and Lyft model. I would have to have a lot of money in the bank, right? But when you can line up and if you can change the game, right now, and with Uber and Lyft, you have the classic rider driver and who's ever in the vicinity, right? Depending on supply and demand, and the companies will line up the driver with the rider, right? My model GOAT is not based on that. It's based on scheduling a trip and lining up passengers who nominate their top 5 riders and make sure that 95% of the time they get one of their top 5 drivers. So you create long-lasting relationships, safe relationships. It's so much easier to program. A lot of the software is already out there, right? So I think you could become a trendsetter, right? You could possibly copy the wheel or try and reinvent the wheel, right? But I think if you want to break away from Uber and Lyft, you have to show something different. I was hoping with Tryp that they at least had a model that would gain a lot of traction with both drivers and riders. And I definitely saw the traction with drivers. I didn't see the track. They showed me nothing, even in my meetings with Tryp. They had nothing in place to show me how to recruit passengers, right? And if I'm looking at these new Vibe videos, it's the same thing. It's like, hey, we want influencers. We want to sign up influencers. You can make these big bucks. You can make up to $500,000 per month. Dream on, cats. Not even the fattest cats who've been in Amway and Herbalife for 20, 30 years are making that type of money, right? So, Dave, how are you? I like Dave's videos with the passengers in the car. They always, those are videos that I bet when the person comes to watch the video, they watch it right through to the end. I think those type of videos have a very, very high retention, right? They keep the visitor engaged. The type of videos that Dave makes, where he drives these people around, he's flirting around with the girls. I just don't want to get Dave deactivated over live web dash cam videos that he's then putting out there to the YouTube world. Believe me, the quality of his pictures. Oh, and Dave, by the way, if you would be so kind and send me, you once mentioned that thumbnail app or that thumbnail software. What do you perceive as the best thumbnail? Payment Ali's in the house, right? How are you? What do you perceive as the best thumbnail software out there? 50. Okay, I'm not. Dave must be having a conversation with somebody because he said 50% usually. Right? So I'm down at LAX, folks. I wanted to push out a video because people have been bombarding me with Vibe, saying, Torsten, you got to make a video on Vibe. You got to. And last night I took the time to vibe out Vibe. That's what I did. I couldn't say it any better. I vibed out Vibe for 2 hours, looked at all their videos, looked at their models, listened to the MCs, and I said, you know what I see here? I see another Tryp wannabe, right? I see another MLM that is making a massive mistake in my eyes, and this is just my opinion, attaching rideshare to MLM. Doesn't work. It's not a product, right? You need a good product with MLM to survive, right? And you have to have a solid marketing model for drivers and riders if you wanted to survive as an MLM rideshare company. My opinion, right? You guys might say, hey, your opinion doesn't count, or your opinion is BS, and good, go sign up with them, right? All those guys that signed up for Tryp, have you made money? Show me the money. Show me the money. Has wired into your account, my friends. Show me the cash. Because the one thing I'm sick of is, hey, get on the next corporate call. Exciting announcements. Next email. Hey, get on the next call. It's in 1 hour. Exciting announcements. Exciting announcements. Exciting announcements. I'm not fucking excited anymore. What about private rides? Yeah, private rides. Listen, that's your ticket, my friend. If you become independent from Uber and Lyft and Vibe and Tryp, and you set up your own company, your own LLC, your own private rides, and recruit your own private clients. I'm sitting on about 85 private clients right now, all day long. All day long. That is a reliable, scalable business that you can grow. With a little bit of a, I agree, Tryp is losing me now, says Patrick. Tryp lost me in beginning 2019. That's when they lost me, right? And I've been attacked, and I've been called every name under the sun because I attacked Tryp. And I'll probably be called every name under the sun by the Vibe people. But listen, been around long enough, run enough companies, sold enough companies to, and I'm not saying I'm the expert of all experts, no, but the things that I have done in the rideshare business have generally all made me money, right? There have been a few rideshare failures in my portfolio over the last 6 years, right? And I have a couple of race horses in the rideshare world that are making me really good money, and I'm always open-minded. I never close the door. I never shut the door. I will look at everything. I will look at Vibe. I will vibe out Vibe. And what I see, I'm sorry, I see a lot of colorful, pretty little videos with a lot of MCs and events and big screens and loud music with big, loud promises. That's how we learn. You have to try. It's 100% correct what Ray said. Go out there, try it, burn your fingers, or enjoy the meal. Listen, if it's a great meal, you'll cook it again and again and again, right? You'll enjoy it over and over again. But when you burn your fingers in the flame, you generally say to yourself, nah, tried it out, doesn't work. Right? So, I have two huge announcements to make today. I'm going to package them up in one video, probably within the next 2 hours, right? I did a big thing today, and it was a big, bold move for me in the rideshare business, right? And I'm going to share that. And then I also said to myself, if you're out there and you can touch and communicate with so many individuals at some point, and my friend Randy, the Uberman, can relate to this, at some point in the rideshare business, you hit your saturation point, right? There's only so much room to grow, right? And I mean, I love the rideshare business. I'm not going to deny that. And the models that I've put in place make me good money, right? Especially the fleets, renting out SUVs, etc. But I don't feel challenged enough by the rideshare industry. So remember what I said to you. You have to really be honest to yourselves in 2019. Take a day off, go to the beach, go to the forest, and say, is this working for me? Is this something that I want to repeat in 2020? Can I grow? Can I do better? And I took that day out and I dug very deep within inside myself and said, is the rideshare business challenging me enough? Can I grow way beyond my channel? And my answer is, I'm ready for way, way more growth. Tryp and Vibe aren't rideshare companies until they have the ability to give rides to passengers. Thank you very much. Simple and sweet. There it is. He said it. So I will be letting you know what I'm adding to my portfolio in 2020. I will be asking for your support. I will be incorporating something into my current channel and growing a second channel, right? And I'm open book. We'll share exactly what I'm up to. Mark Rout in Vegas in the house. Excited to see you again in 2020. Hope you're having a great season and ready for Christmas. Hope everybody got their Christmas shopping out the way. But guys, I want to hear your feedback. Really, I really need to hear your feedback on Vibe and Tryp. And, you know, let's face it, let's talk about reality, right? Are we going to make real money with Vibe and Tryp? Or is this something we put a little bit of money into, which is not a problem if you can spend a $50 to $150 to test the waters, maybe, or if you're prepared to get your fingers burnt. I was prepared to get my fingers burnt on Tryp. I put $150 in, right? 149. but I didn't see anything. Have a private client who has an emergency at 6:30. So folks, your feedback really, I would really like to hear from Vibe. I really want to hear back from the guys from Tryp, even the founders, even the big boys at Tryp. You know, convince me, prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. I do want to see another company go head to head with Uber and Lyft. I do want to see another, what is Dane re-ask that question? Why suing? What was that? Elaborate on that question. Why am I suing? Why are drivers suing? You got to complete your sentence, right? Because I don't like half statements, because I can't quite decipher where you're going with that, right? So Rideshare guy is suing. Good for him. The Rideshare guy, my friend Harry, is suing. Good. And then Harry and I need to have a conversation, because one of my videos tonight will be talking about that. I made a big, bold move, probably the same move that Harry made. Should I let the cat out of the bag? Oh, he's suing Uber for mileage reimbursement. Okay. And he will win. He'll get every single cent from them. They are not going to mess around with Harry, the Rideshare guy. It's got too much power over them. Jay as well. It's got too much power over them. They're not going to mess around. They'll settle up with him. Do you guys want me to let the monster out of the bag? Okay, so let's finish this video, because this really talks about Vibe, Tryp, and reality, right? I don't want to mix apples and oranges. I want to keep the apples basket, which is this one, MLM. Let me finish this one. Let me get on the road towards Calabasas, and I will start the next live feed, and I'm going to share something very, very, very big with you. Okay? My subscribers deserve that news, and I owe that news to my subscribers, right? So today we're going to have 3 live feeds. The second one is the big news that I'm going to announce probably in about 10-15 minutes time. And the third live video today will be what I'm going to be rolling out in 2020, right? But I'll always be dedicated to the rideshare industry, and I'll always be a voice for drivers. I'll never change that. I'm not going to change my channel and desert my subscribers. Won't happen, right? I have an obligation towards the drivers, and I make good money with YouTube, and I recruit a lot of drivers, and I lease out a lot of cars to drivers through my channel. So why cut off your feet, right? I would never cut off my feet, right? So the rideshare professor will always be there, even in 2020. But my friends, I have bigger fish to fry, right? I have way, way bigger goals than just rideshare. And grow with me, join me on the journey, right? I'll make that announcement tonight. But the big announcement you will see or should be the cover of my next live feed. How's that? Teaser. I'm going to check out right now, and I will catch you in the next live feed. Love you all. Oh, the Tryp Hustle call is at 6 p.m. Exciting announcement. I have hundreds and hundreds of those emails. If you look at the thumbnail of my video, I did it. I sent them exactly that live feed. Much love to you, Mark Fowdy. So stick in with me. I'm getting on the road right now. I'm just rolling out of LAX, got my coffee, and let the next live feed begin. Checking out. Peace to you all.